Okay, what's up, YouTube? Happy anniversary, Wuthering Waves. Um, no, Changli, I will not. But so this is going to be a combat guide for the basics of Wuthering Waves combat, because I know a lot of people still have some trouble with it. Because there are quite a few things that makes it a little bit more in depth than most games, but yeah, so this is just a guide I hope will help with getting new players and returning players to get comfortable with the combat of Wuthering Waves. So, um, we'll go over the UI first. So, as you see on the side right here, you have your characters. So, you have a team of 3, and then, oops. So, yeah, you have a team of 3, and you can swap between any of the characters at any time by pressing their corresponding numbers. So, my first character, if I press 1, I get that character. If I press 2, I go back to this one, and if I press 3, I go back. And you can see there's a small cooldown, but it's almost negligible. Yeah, so that's how that works. Pretty simple. Down here on the bottom right of the UI, so we have our resonance skill, our echo skill, and then we have our resonance liberation. Your resonance liberation is basically your ultimate, or for Genshin players, your elemental burst. Um, your skill is your skill, and then the echo skill, it's unique to Wuthering Waves, so it's a unique skill that you can get based off of whatever gear set you're wearing. So in the overworld, enemies have a chance to drop these like golden holograms that you can pick up, and that's known as an echo. You pick those up, and that becomes your gear set. So you can wear up to 5 slots, and the echo you put in your first slot or your main slot will be the skill that you get. There are many different echo sets and many different echoes you can pick, so you can kind of mix and match how you like. There are optimal builds, but I'm not going to go into all of that. Next, we're going to go to the bottom of the screen. So we have our health bar, pretty obvious. It's how much life your character has. Their HP drops to 0. You lose that character until you revive them. Above the health bar is known as the Forte gauge. This gauge is the most important part of Wuthering Waves combat. This determines how your character is played. So every character has a unique Forte gauge. It fills up and it fills up differently. Like each character has their own way to do it, and each Forte gauge also looks differently. So, I mean, some of them look similar, but they're pretty different in how they operate. So, our example here, Chang Li, her Forte gauge, it fills up when she uses a mechanic built into her kit called True Sight. So, every time that the True Sight connects with an enemy, one of these gauges fills up, and then as it fills up, you get the when you get the full Forte gauge filled, you have what's known as or you get her yikes, you get her enhanced heavy attack. But that's Changli specifically. Every Forte operates differently, and every Forte fills up differently. So it's character to character dependent. You're gonna have to look it up for your character. But if you are interested in Changli, she is coming up in the second half of the anniversary patch. I think, I can't remember. I wasn't paying attention because all I cared about was the new characters. Anyway, so moving on, this part right here, this little circle on the side, this is called the concerto. So you fill it up by doing pretty much any action in combat. A basic attack, a heavy attack, you dodge something, you use your ultimate, you use your echo skill, they will all generate concerto. When this circle fills up, that's when we get into a mechanic known as intro and outro skills. So I'm going to take us to a boss to kind of demonstrate like the combat, and I'll explain it as we go along.
The moment at hand.
Okay,
This
so
very moment
for
is the best of our
For our
lives.
first combat demonstration, we're going to go and show this boss right here. This is known as the Nightmare Impermanent Terran. It's a pretty easy boss. So we have our basic attack, we have aerial attacks, and then skill ultimate stuff. So I'll show like as combat happens, the different mechanics will happen, and I'll go over each one. So
Guests of the unkind.
when you can lock onto enemies. If you're playing on PC, it's the middle mouse. I don't know what it is on controller. But yeah. So we have our basic attacks.
Here's the blaze.
We have
Make it fast.
our skill.
Perish in flames.
We have our
Take
echo
form.
skill.
Triumph through sacrifice. My blade yearns. Who's
Our
the
resonance
caged
liberation,
bird
or our
now?
ultimate. And then so you'll see
No
my
need to
forte
dwell.
filled up, and I was able to use that extra heavy
Make
attack.
it fast.
Now, since our concerto is full, because it fills by doing any action, the characters on the side are glowing. This means that I can use their intro skill, and when Chang Li leaves, she will use her outro skill. Now, outro's intro skills, they don't, I mean, they matter, but it depends
Make
on
it
the team.
fast.
Leave it to me.
So by switching to my shorekeeper, I got her intro skill,
Loading. Iron graft.
and then by doing all the different things, the concerto fill,
Together
and I'm
we
able to switch back to get Chang Li's intro skill, which the way she came in,
Mind's eye.
yeah. So that's a basic run of combat. And like I said, those golden things you pick up, those are echoes that you can pick up. Alright, so while we wait for this thing to respawn, you can see that my concerto bar is full because I was doing actions in combat. So as this fills, like I said, these characters glow on the side, which I showed earlier, and you can do your intro and outro skills. So when a character leaves the field during a swap, they perform an outro skill, which is different for every character, and then the character coming in performs an intro skill, which is also different. It usually is some type of attack that does damage, but sometimes there are other benefits. It varies from character to character. Next, we're going to go over the dodging mechanic and how the dodging works. So, when it comes to dodging, it does use
The
stamina,
moment at hand.
but
This very moment.
for attacks that hit multiple
is the
times, you
best
can
of our
consecutively dodge, as long as you time it right. I mean, realistically, it's pretty easy. You can just kind of like mash the dodge button. I'll put an example of it in the video.
Blade yearns.
And then you are also allotted one air dodge. However, if you successfully air dodge an attack, which I haven't really done because it's very niche, but if you do successfully dodge an attack in the air, your dodge does refresh and you are allowed to use another one, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so let's go over dodges. So when you successfully dodge an attack, the character will do a slow-mo. You might have seen it in like
The
the
moment
previous
at
combat
hand.
demonstration,
This
but we'll try to do it
very
again.
moment.
And when
the
you successfully
best
dodge an
of our
attack, you can
lives.
also press your attack button to follow up with an attack again. So it's really nice. So you can continuously dodge, or you can dodge and follow up again, depending on the attack incoming, which you'll just have to learn how the bosses work. You can do either or. Sometimes you can just dodge to run away, like if you need to heal or something. It depends, but dodging is pretty useful. So let's
Yes,
just
to
work
be
on
unkind.
dodging for this fight. I'll kill it eventually, but so you saw like there's that little slow-mo. That was a dodge, and then a dodge with a follow-up attack. And then dodge again with a follow-up attack. It's pretty nice. Sometimes it takes practice, but you can
Make it fast.
oops.
Now
Okay.
that's
Well,
a hassle.
yeah. So that's pretty much dodging in a nutshell. Okay, so for this part of combat, we're going to talk about parry windows, or parrying. So parrying, or I should say, we're switching locations because this boss, the Nightmare Crownless or the regular Crownless for the new players, this is a good way to practice parrying because that boss, both versions, have a lot of parry windows. So a parry window occurs when you see a golden ring, and you'll see two golden rings actually. So an outer ring and an inner ring. When the outer ring closes in on the inner ring, if you time your attack at that moment, you get a parry. And parries are very good because they will they'll stagger the enemy, but more importantly, I didn't talk about this earlier, but this bar underneath the boss's HP, this is known as like their like toughness bar or whatever. When you do parries, it does a pretty significant amount of damage to this toughness bar, and then when this bar breaks, you get a small window where you can do like a lot of damage to the boss. So the more you break this, the more damage you can deal. It's very important for end game to try and learn how to do parries, but for just like overall exploration, it's not the most important thing. You'll kind of get it as you do, because you break the toughness bar just by hitting the enemy as well. It's just parries really help with that. So I'm not too good with parries, but fortunately there are some workarounds around it. If you have a character that does a lot of attacks in a sequence, like Chang Li here, or Jian, Camellia, something like that, then you can have, because they constantly have attacks flying out, the chances of landing the parry are more likely. And then you can have characters that have bigger hitboxes, like Spectro Rover. Spectro Rover's basic attack 2, I believe, has such a big attack window that it has an easy time parrying. You still have to time it a little bit, but it's a little bit easier. But yeah, so kind of work like that. Everyone can parry except for most gun users. The only gun user who can actually parry at the moment is Carlotta, but that might be different with Chacona. I don't know for sure. I don't know how her kit works fully, and I won't know until she comes out. But yeah, so except for gun characters, like for the most part, everyone except gun characters. Carlotta's an exception, but she's also kind of broken. But yeah, so let's get into combat with this boss, and I'll show you parries and like breaks in the toughness bar.
Guests of the unkind.
So let's just get into a fight. So that golden ring, you can dodge. And then you see the parry right there, and the toughness bar broke a little bit.
Mind's eye. From defense to offense. My blade yearns.
I missed the parry.
Triumph
But
through sacrifice.
There's another parry, and the toughness bar went down. Parry and toughness bar broke down.
Leave it to me.
Oh my!
Loading.
I was too busy parrying. I didn't attack
More
properly
with time.
or like dodge properly. But now you can see he's broken, and then that yellow bar under his health, it's going down. That's like my toughness window.
Together we vanish. Sever. Perish in flame. Be reduced to cinders.
That was a cool ending, but yeah,
Make it
so
fast.
that's how like the parrying system works. That's pretty much the basics of combat for Wuthering Waves. There are some other things to take into account, like quick swaps and all that, and the new mechanics being added, Spectro Frazzle and Arrow Erosion, but those are like character specific. Yeah, so I hope this helped with getting to understand the combat of Wuthering Waves a little bit better. I know I'm not like the best at combat, but still I wanted to get this out there to kind of help the newer players and the returning players or anyone else who's confused about how the combat works, like the basic mechanics and stuff. There are a few other things that I could go into depth about, but this is just to cover the basics. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. If this video helped you out, share this with a friend. Really help me get this out there so I can, help more people get into Wuthering Waves, because I really like this game and I want it to grow. And combat is a big part of it, so understanding that will really help people to enjoy the game better. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.